Hello students, good afternoon one and all. This is class 2 suspension system and ignition system. So last class we have discussed about what is in detail about the steering geometry or wheel alignment. So in steering geometry we have discussed about different geometry, what is caster angle, camber angle, toe in, toe out, what is kingpin inclination, etc., which is useful to drive the vehicle smoothly. So in today's class we will discuss about what are the types of steering gears. Okay, so let me repeat those things what I have done earlier the previous class, then I'll go forward for types of steering gearbox. So steering geometry is the geometry arrangement of the parts of steering system, the values of lengths and angles within it. So steering geometry changes due to bumps in the road may cause the front wheels to steer in different direction together or independent of each other. So steering geometry system allow the driver to control the direction of vehicle travel. So we have seen what are the functions. So it should provide directional stability straight ahead. Okay. It provides straight ahead recovery after completing a turn. It helps in controlling wear and tears of the tires. It converts rotary movement of the steering wheel into the angular turn of the front wheel. These are the functions of steering system. So we have discussed what are different the components of steering system. So first component talks about the steering wheel. So we have seen. Then it talks about steering column. Then it talks about lower steering shaft. Then there is one more part will be there, steering gear. That is main important in this class. We are going to discuss about steering gear. What are the different types of steering gears? Okay. So there is pitman arm will be there. Okay. Then we'll discuss what is that pitman and how exactly. I'll show some pictures also. Then there is a tie rod will be there. Okay. Then there is a parallelogram steering linkage. Okay, which connects your pitman to the idler arm. There is an idler arm will be there. Then center link will be there. Okay, so these are the different components of steering system. Okay, then what are the requirements? So it should be accurate and easy to handle. So vehicle should be steered with minimum effort. So minimum effort required so that the driver should not feel fatigue. Okay, it should be affected by the side thrust, cornering forces and wind effects. It should not affect. So the mechanism should have tendency to regain straight-head configuration after steering. So these are the different linkages. There are two linkages will be there. One is rigid axial suspension. One is independent axial suspension. So in rigid axial suspension, you can see there is one rigid, one beam will be there, stub axial beam will be there. Okay. Then first one, the parts will be steering wheel. You can see steering column. Then you can see the gearbox, steering gearbox. Then you can see the pitman drop arm, which connects the link rod to your steering. Then you can see link rod, drag link, again which connects to track rod arm. Okay, and there is a steering arm will be there. Then there is adjuster will be there, which is while driving automatically it will try to adjust. Track rod or tie rod, ball joints will be there. Then there is a kingpin will be there. Then there is an axial beam. This is called a stub axial or axial beam. Then so this is what exactly it can be called as rigid axial suspension. So rigid axial in a sense, whole beam it will try to rotate, whole beam it will try to move forward. Then there is one more suspension you can see here, linkages, steering wheel, steering column, steering gearbox, drop arm or pitman arm. Then independently it is connected. So they are separate means the axial beam is only one axial beam. To the axial beam, two tires are connected, but here independent are connected. Here you can see here. So tie rod, idler arm, it is independent for one tire. Then again tie rod, okay. Then that is called as wishbone arm. In the coming slide, I'll try to discuss what is that wishbone arm. Okay. This is called as something about independent suspension system. So after knowing different linkages, then we shall see what is the steering geometry. So compulsory we know in order to run, I told you in order to run in smooth running condition while moving on the road. Okay. Then the positioning, or I can say like this, the directional stability, in order to provide directional stability or reduce the wear to minimum to easy steering, okay, smooth operation, okay. Several front wheel alignment factors must be considered, such as camber, kingpin, steering axis inclination, caster, toe in, toe out, okay. So these are the different angles we need to consider in order to have good stability of the vehicle or smooth running of the vehicle or easy steering of the vehicle. Fine. So what are the steering geometry we should know? So steering axis inclination, camber inclination, caster angle, toe in, toe out, thrust angle, turning radius, suspension height. Let me complete this. Steering axis inclination. So you can see the figure. Okay. So steering axis inclination, that is the inclination. What exactly you can see? There is a tire will be there. Okay. Tire center axis will be there. That is vertical line. Okay. Then steering axis inclination will be there. That is what you can see, inclined line. Steering axis. Okay. So when I turn the steering, that whole like the shaft, it will try to rotate. That is called a steering axis. Then the vertical of the tire and to this steering axis inclination is called as something about steering axis inclination. So what is it will do? Angle between vertical line and kingpin center line. Kingpin center line, already I told you what is that kingpin. So below that there is one joint will be there, or there is one pin will be inserted between tire and the steering shaft, that is called as kingpin. Okay. So helps in steering returnability. When I turn the steering either towards the left or right, again it will try to return. Okay, it will the wheel, steering wheel will try to return to its original position after completing a turn. Okay, so reduce the steering effect, reduces tire wear. That is what the steering axis inclination it will do. So kingpin inclination, the angle between the vertical, you can see here. So the angle between the vertical and the center of the kingpin or steering axle, okay, when view from the front of the vehicle is known as kingpin inclination. You can see here. So thrust bearing, otherwise that is called as kingpin inclination. Okay. So the angle is called as kingpin angle measured in degrees. Okay. So you can understand. So effect reduces steering effect, particularly when the vehicle is stationary. It reduces tire wear also. The kingpin inclination in the vehicle ranges from 6 degree to 8 degree. Okay. So you can understand what is exactly kingpin inclination. So center of the tire, it is axis will be there. Then there is one pin will be attached. Okay. The inclination, that is called as something about kingpin inclination. Then if balls are attached, you can see there, instead of that pin, if small ball joints are provided, so it is called a steering axis inclination. Understand the difference? In previous slide we have seen, okay, that is called as kingpin. If pin is attached, it is called as kingpin inclination. If balls are provided here, ball joints are provided, it is called as steering axis inclination. Understand the difference between balls and the pin. If pin is attached, it is called as kingpin. Balls are attached, it is called as steering axis inclination. Next, we can understand what is this camber. Camber is the tilt of the car wheel from the vertical center of the tire, okay, when I tilt the car, okay. So when I tilt the car towards a left or right, it is called as a camber, okay. So again there are three types will be there here. One is when the camber is 0, what happens? When the camber is positive, when the camber is negative, what happens here? So the tire life will be maximum when the camber angle is 0, okay. You can see the figure here. So load will be acting on the tire. So this is the tire, it will be like the right side. So vertical reference will be there, okay. So in detail you can see the figure in detail here. So this is called as something about the axis is exactly, the two tires axis is exactly center. So this says when the camber is 0, camber inclination is 0, the tire lift will be maximum. So there are again one is positive camber will be there, one is negative camber will be there, okay. So slightly the angle will change as the roads or bumps or like different like what I can say, the running conditions, this camber angle it will try to change, okay. So what is positive camber? See, you can see the positive, the tire it will be outside, the two tires it will be the slightly like 3 degree or 4 degree, the angle it will try to change, it will come outside, the tire will be outside, it is called as positive camber. So when the tires are inside to the center of the tire axis, and you can see the red line, the axis it is changing, it is called as negative camber, okay. So you can see, observe the figure, this is called as positive camber, okay. The tire will be outside to the road surface and the tire will be inside to the road surface, okay. So when the vehicle is running with the average load, so what exactly happens? 0 camber angle gives maximum tire life. So if the two front wheels are not provided with equal camber, if two front wheels are not provided with equal camber, the vehicle will try to pull towards the side where the camber angle is high. Suppose if you see the positive camber, so towards the right hand side or towards outside the camber angle is more, so it will pull the whole vehicle or it will pull the tire to that side only. In the same way, if the wheels are provided with equal camber, whatever the crown road of the tendency to pull away the vehicle to the side of the road, okay. So usually straight high camber is provided at the right wheel in case of right hand drive vehicles which have to move towards the left side, okay. So normally what happens, usually 2 degrees or exact amount of equal depends upon the kingpin inclination. So normally 2 to 3 degrees it is provided. So negative camber or positive camber, what exactly it will say? So you can see the red color, it is tire axis, and if you tilt outward it is called as positive camber. Positive camber primarily used on front wheels, especially positive cambers are used in front wheels. So reason, so camber, what happens? Lower the steering effect. So it will lower the steering effect. Stability of the vehicle will be, stability of the tires will start, stability of the vehicles will be there. So if I provide negative camber angle, it is tilted inward, it is called as negative camber, primarily used for rear wheels, especially for rear wheels this negative camber are provided. So reasons, increased cornering ability, proper grip will be there, so increases road shock and component wear, okay. So again what happens, the tire life will be reduced, more friction will be there. So normally we have to check in such a way that camber angle should be 0 in order to reduce the tire wear. What is this caster? So next geometry we are going to learn caster. So when the vehicle is like moving forward or backward or like turning, there is a true angle, center axis of the tire will be there, and steering pivot angle, otherwise it is called as kingpin inclination. You can see wheel contact point, you can see lead point. Okay, between that angle it is called as caster angle. Okay, so what is this caster? The angle between kingpin center line and the vertical is in the plane of the wheel is called as caster angle. So incorrect caster can produce difficulties like hard steering will be there, pulling to one side when brakes are applied. So amount will be normally we have to follow 3 degrees or 4 degrees. You can see the figure, positive camber. Okay, so red line will be and blue color line will be center of the tire, and there is a neutral caster will be there, there is a negative caster will be there. Okay, so when it is moved forward or backward, okay, so this is what the figure it talks about, caster angle. Okay, so caster angle provided on the, even like you can see furniture rollers and on the front wheels of the bicycle. Okay, the positive caster provided in both these cases causes the wheels to be pulled in any one direction. So any one direction, this type of things you can see here in bicycles or in rollers especially, or in trolleys also. So there are two types of caster angle, one is positive and one is negative. The top of the kingpin is inclined to the rear of the wheel. Rear of the wheel, okay, helps maintain directional stability, helps to return wheels to straight ahead after being straight. Once steering is turned, again it will return to its original position. So negative camber, okay, so benefits, wheel is easier to turn. So thrust angle occurs when rear wheel has improper alignment. So this is what thrust angle says, affects direction of travel by causing pull the direction away from the thrust line. You can see the figure. So angle between geometric center line and the thrust. Geometric center and the center line, it is a designed center line. Then the thrust, where exactly, so there is improper alignment, then only thrust angle will come into picture. Okay. So toe in, toe, what is toe? So symmetric angle between wheels and the axis of the wheel. So you can see the tires, the two tires, okay, you can see the tires, the front wheel, okay, symmetric angle between the wheels and the axis of the wheels, and you can see the front wheels have exactly the toe in, that is called as toe in, and second figure you can see this is called as a toe out. So wheels are provided at the out. So here in this figure wheels are provided at the inner direction. Okay, toe increases straight line stability. That is the main like the advantage will be there when I provide toe in. So if I put more load on the vehicle, at that time when there is a toe in, so due to the load, what happens again, tires will try to come outside, slight angle, due to slight the heavier load, what happens, it will try to come to all the tire surface, it will try to make contact to the road when I provide the toe in. Okay, so stability will be there. Okay, greater the toe, faster the tire wears. So when more like toe will be there, you can see the bottom figure. So tire wears will be more here. So normally in our vehicles, either at the front or back, in luggage autos, you will be observing the two tires back, front wheel, one wheel will be there, and back two tires will be toe in. Why? Because of the more weight, what happens again, it will try to elongate, or again it will try to all the tire surface, okay, due to weight, the tire surface, it will try to touch the ground again due to load. So automatically when it is in ideal condition, again it will be toe in. So that is where we can use toe in conditions. Fine. What is toe? This is toe in. So if you see the front wheels, okay, normally 1 inch gap, 1 inch distance will be there. the surface of the front and the surface of the back tire. Okay, so normally the distance will be 1 inch. So tot again the distance will be 1 inch. Fine. Next comes the steering system. Let us understand the steering system in this class. So what is steering system? Is the term applied to the collection of components, linkages. Okay, so linkages we have learned what is this linkages in previous class. So components also we have learned, which allow a vehicle to move in the desired direction. So in desired direction we can move the vehicle. An automobile is steered with the help of steering gears, very important, and linkages. We have seen two types of linkages. One is rigid axle linkages, one is independent suspension. Okay, so which transfer the motion of hand operated steering wheels to the front wheels. Fine. Now, functions of steering system, it helps in turning the vehicles to left or right. Okay, rotary movement of the steering wheel into angular turn. So multiplies the effort of driver by leverage in order to reduce the effort to turn the wheels. It will reduce the effort to turn the wheels, okay, with the help of steering gears. It absorbs a major part of the road shocks, preventing them to transmit it to the hands of the driver. So all these principle will takes by Ackermann's principle. So when the vehicle travels in curved path, so already we have learned what is this Ackermann principle. Okay, so wheels should describe circles around the same center. The wheel should describe around the same center, otherwise they will slide and cause excessive tire wear. The steering mechanism ensures that when the vehicle turns left or right, the inner wheel is turned through a larger angle. Okay, the inner wheel should turn to a larger angle to prevent tire wear. Okay, so all this the steering will be takes place by this Ackermann's principle. Now what is the steering system? So when the driver turns the steering wheel, the front wheels move and the car turns the corner. For this simple function, many things have to be taken into consideration. For example, effect of road surface irregularities. So this we have to take into consideration. Tire behavior under cornering stress. An efficient mechanical system to give easy turning of steering vehicle. Very little difference between empty and fully loaded vehicle. This is very important. Effect of accelerating or braking when the wheels are turned. The front wheel should have natural tendency to return to the straight ahead position and stay there. This is very important. Once the wheel is turned, again it has to return its position. Now requirements of steering mechanism, it should satisfy Ackermann conditions. Irregularities in the road surface must be damped. However, such damping must not cause the driver to lose contact with the road. Steering wheel is released. When the steering wheel is released, the wheels must return automatically to straight ahead. This is very important and must remain stable in this position. The steering should have low ratio as possible in order to obtain ease handling. Steering effort depends not only on steering ratio but also front suspension load, turning circle, suspension geometry. Already we have discussed the suspension geometry, properties of the tire thread and road surface. Fine. So what are the components of this steering? So one, there will be steering wheel, steering column, okay, driver input device. This is very important. This is driver input device. So what is the steering wheel? Or if I apply it to a steering gear, it is the heart of steering system, and the driver controls the direction in front wheels with the steering gear. So it converts rotary motion of the steering wheel into to and fro motion of the link rod of the steering linkage, okay, which in turn swell the front wheels. That is called as exactly steering box or steering gears. So steering column will be a shaft connected steering wheel to the steering box or steering rack. Steering box or steering gear ratio will be provided. Steering gearbox is connected to the pitman arm. So I told you what is that pitman arm or drop arm. So pitman arm is connected to the drag link. Drag link is connected to steering arm. So steering arm is connected to the steering knuckle. Steering knuckle is mounted to the axle. Understand these terms? Okay, how exactly it is interlinked or connected. So track rod or tie rod, a rod which connects the left and the right of the wheels. The steering rack is also a track rod. Okay, the tie rod and ball joint to allow steering and suspension movement. These are the components of your steering system. Now coming to the components, you can see there. Okay, this is exactly the movement forward direction. So first will be your steering. Okay, steering will be there here, steering column, drive shaft. So after that, steering gearbox, that is what we are going to discuss. Then drop arm, which connect your steering gearbox to drag link. You can see here, drop arm and drag link. Okay, then next drag link ball joints, those are called as ball joints. I'll show you that what are the ball joints. Then drag link arm, that is what it is connected. Then this is called as something about axle beam. So whole axle beam, track rod will be there. Okay, so which will turn the wheel. After turning the wheel, automatically it will try to not to track the tires. That rod is called as track rod. Track rod end joints. Okay, track rod arm, then stub axle, then kingpin. You can see where exactly this one pin is inserted in that. That is called as kingpin. Okay, so steering seat. Okay, this is called as something about the components of conventional steering system. Okay, fine. So you need to understand drop arm, drag link, steering, gearbox, everything. Those are the components. Now coming to the next, what is exactly steering wheel? So attached to steering column and the shaft by one or more fasteners, most single nut is in the center. Okay, have interference fit on the shaft, needs a puller to remove. That is steering wheel. So contains horn, may contain airbag assembly, radio, etc., controls, etc. Okay. Steering column supports the steering shaft. Shaft is supported by bearings at the top. Okay, steering wheel is spline to steering shaft located in the center steering column. Okay, then so this is called as the steering column. Exactly, you can see. So inner shaft will be there, shear pins which we used to try to lock steering shaft. Because why this system is provided? Because not to avoid the vibration. Okay, so inner section, there are outer section, plastic shear pins. Okay. Then after knowing that steering column is Pitman drop arm, you can see the figure attached to the steering gear. You can see the steering gear. Okay. So to the steering gear, this is what exactly the Pitman arm or drop arm. So idler arm holds one side of the steering linkage. You can see the figure. So idler arm holds one side of the steering linkage. Okay. So center link will be there, Pitman arm, gearbox, steering arm, adjusting sleeve. Okay. Then we can see the steering linkages. There are different steering linkages will be there. So tie rod, steering arms, steering knuckles, ball joints. Okay, these are the linkages. So steering arm. Okay, so this is what exactly the steering arm, steering linkages, steering knuckle. So steering knuckle. So these are ball joints, allow suspension movement up and down as well as turning movement. Okay. So ball, seat, seal, etc. You can see the spring. These are called as ball joints. can see the figure, these are called as ball joints. These are called as tie rods. Tie rods are attached to pivots and on each front wheel. Okay, so you can see the wheel here. You can see the wheel. Okay, so these are called as tie rods. So allows for suspension movement. Used to adjust toe of the car. I told you what is exactly toe of the car. Toe in, toe out. Tire face. You can see that the reverse of V. Okay, those are called as tire in. Toe out, so you can see V shape. Okay, these are called as something about tie rods. Coming to the main part of our chapter, that is called a steering gearbox. So steering gears are enclosed in the box called a steering gearbox. Okay, so I told you it converts rotary motion of the steering wheel into to and fro motion of the link rod of the steering linkages, which in turn swivel the front wheel. Okay, steering gears also provided, it provides a torque multiplication. Whatever the steering that is there, it multiplies the torque. Okay, it multiplies the driving steering effort to provide adequate force for steering column. Okay, so there are different gears will be provided for cars, for trucks. Okay, different like steering ratio will be provided here. Okay, especially if I talk about in case of cars, maybe 10:1 or 22:1. For trucks, 24:1 or 32:1. These are the something about gear ratios are provided for cars and trucks. Okay, so there are many types of steering gears are used in automobiles. The important steering gears are, so normally for our syllabus, maybe worm and wheel steering gear. Okay, so one is worm and nut steering gear. Okay, so one is recirculating ball type of steering gears. So other steering gears, it is for your general, for your like understanding sake, we will try to learn. Okay, so these are the different types of steering gearbox. So first, if I talk about worm and wheel steering gearbox, okay, it consists of worm and worm wheel. Okay, you can see here the figure. It consists of worm wheel and it is consists of worm. So you can see where exactly this area. Okay, this is called as worm, and the circular portion is called as worm wheel. Okay, so that is called a steering shaft. So in the steering shaft, steering is rotated. This worm is rotated. Okay, in turn, when the worm is rotated, automatically the worm wheel is rotated. Okay, to that also gears teeth are provided. Then automatically it will try to tilt this drop arm. Okay, so it consists of worm and worm wheel. So in place of worm wheel, only a sector may be used. Okay, as the steering wheel turns, I told you the rotation of the worm drives the worm wheel. A drop arm is rigidly attached to the wheel spindle. So rotation of the worm wheel through steering wheel causes the drop arm to move to and fro, thereby actuates the link rod connected to it and swivels the front wheels. That is how. Okay, so drop arm, when it is moved to and fro, so when the worm wheel is rotated, drop arm moves to and fro, thereby actuates the link rod. So link rod already we have talked about, connected to it, and swivels the, what happens, front wheels. So through the drop arm it will swivels the front wheels. Okay, so steering wheel is mounted at the upper end of the steering shaft. So when the driver rotates the steering wheel, the drop arm moves back or forward direction. This is how the front wheels swivels. This is what exactly worm and wheel steering gear provides. Okay, this is one type of gear. So another type of gear, worm and sector steering. So worm and sector means okay, the ends of the steering shaft has a worm gear attached to it. Okay, so worm gear will be provided. So it meshes directly with the sector gear. Okay, so you can see this exactly the figure. Okay, steering gear shaft, when the steering is rotated exactly whole like the worm gear. You can see the worm gear, it is rotated. So when the worm gear is rotated, so automatically the sector gear is rotated. Okay, so to that sector gear, so again when it moves to and fro, backward or forward, so what happens, the pitman arm shaft will try to tilt. Okay, so pitman arm shaft, it will try to move to and fro. Okay, this is called as something about worm and sector steering gears provides. Okay, so in the way steering wheel is turned, the shaft turns the worm gear and sector gear pivots around its axis, it is moved along the worm gear. Now after knowing what is worm and sector gear, so cam and lever steering gear. Okay, so what is this cam and lever steering gear? You can, same concept will be there. Okay, so you can see the helical groove type section is provided. So when the steering shaft is rotated, so it is towards my right hand side, steering shaft will be there. So when the steering column rotates, so what happens, the helical sector whole, it is made up of like helical groove. So in that helical groove, this pin projected, so pin is projected in the groove. Okay, so when the pin is projected, it moves to and fro. In turn, it is connected to what, the drop arm. Okay, so as it steering column shaft is rotated, okay, this drop arm spindle lever, it will try to move to and fro or forward and backward. So due to that momentum, what happens, your drop arm, it will try to rotate. Again in turn, the front wheels, it will try to like swivels the front wheels. So helical groove is provided here. Okay, so that pin projected, it is in the form of ruler. Okay, it moves in that helical grooves. This is how the mechanism will be provided. This is called as something about cam and lever steering gearbox. Now another type of the steering gear, recirculating ball type steering gear. So especially you can see the figure. So recirculating means balls are provided in the nut. Okay, so recirculating ball type steering gear, it consists of a worm and nut arrangement. Okay, nut arrangement and worm arrangement will be provided here. You can see the figure. The steering shaft carries the worm. Now you can see towards my right hand, the steering shaft carries the worm and the nut rides on the worm with the two sets of balls in the grooves. There are two sets of balls are there in the grooves. Okay, between nut and worm. Okay, these balls reduce friction during the movement of the nut on the worm. So the drop arm is rigidly attached to the wheel sector, and the teeth of the wheel sector meshes with the teeth of the nut. The drop arm in turn connected to the link rod, through which it swivels the road wheels. So that is what the system is provided. So this, when the worm wheel is worm gear, okay, it is rotated. So sector gear will be provided here, ball nut rack will be provided. Okay, steering shaft will be provided. So the steering shaft is rotated. Okay, then the worm gear, it is attached to the steering shaft. Worm gear, it will try to rotate. The balls, it will be provided through the nuts. So that ball, it will glide through that grooves, through that worm gear. Okay, because already I told you the means of providing balls is to reduce the friction. So when the worm gear is rotated, automatically your sector gear will be rotating. Okay, then automatically in turn the pitman shaft will be rotated and directly it is connected to your drop arm. Okay, so you can see clearly in this figure also. Okay, steering shaft is rotated. So to the steering shaft, worm gears are provided. So there is one like ball nut rack will be there. Okay, through that ball nut rack, balls are steel balls are provided. Okay, recirculating ball bearings. So the balls will be circulating within that ball nut rack. So automatically when the steering is rotated, that balls will be rotating continuously, whatever the momentum or whatever the length that is provided, or whatever the angle I am rotating steering. So through that length only that balls it will try to move in that nut rack. So automatically when that the worm gear rotates, okay, so automatically what happens, the ball nut rack, sector gear, it will try to rotate to and fro, automatically it is connected to your pit man. So this is what the recirculating ball types steering gears are provided. Okay, so in the steering wheel system, the nut rides on the worms. Okay, and the balls rolls in the grooves and makes the nut to travel along the length of the worm. These two sets of balls are recirculated through the guides as the nut rides on the worm. So automatically what happens, its momentum drives the wheel sector and hence link rod and thus steers the wheel. This is something about recirculating, okay, ball type steering gear. Fine. So last one is called as rack and pinion steering. Okay, the pinion gear is attached to the steering shaft. So almost all cars, whatever the vehicles we are using, it is almost all rack and pinion arrangement. Okay, so it takes 3 or 4 complete revolutions of the steering wheel to make wheels turn from lock to lock or from left to far right. When we turn the steering wheel, the pinion rotates and moves the rack. So rack and pinion gear set is enclosed in the metal tube with the ends of the rack protruding from the tube as the tie rod is connected to each end of the rack. So the tie rod at each end of the track is connected to the steering arm. You can see the rack and pinion steering. So steering is there. So pinion will be there and rack will be there. So when the steering is rotated, automatically what happens, that rack it will try to move to and fro. Okay. So when the pinion is rotated, the rack will be moved to and fro, automatically it is connected to pitman arm or tie rods, etc. So that is how the wheels will be swivels. Okay. So thank you for your attention. So next class we'll learn what is the working principle of different types of the steerings. So different types of steering, in a sense we know what is power steering, there is hydraulic steering will be there. Okay, we shall see different working principle in next class. Thank you for your attention.